Hello and welcome back to your literary criticism paper. In this video, we are going to deal with three more concepts of T.S. Eliot. One is poetic emotion, second is objective correlative, third is dissociation of sensibility. Let's see what is poetic emotion. We have already talked about impersonality in poetry. What is the concept of emotion put forward by Eliot? There's always a difference between the artistic emotion and the personal emotions of the poet. His personal emotions may be simple or crude, but the emotion of his poetry are complex and refined. He may express ordinary emotions, but he must impart to them a new significance and a new meaning. Even emotions which he has never personally experienced can serve the purpose of poetry. Eliot compares the poet's mind to a receptacle in which are stored feelings, emotions in an unorganized and chaotic form till all the particles which can unite to form a new compound are present together. Eliot does not deny personality or emotion to the poet, only he must depersonalize his emotions, for the emotion of the art is impersonal. In short, the poet has to depersonalize his emotions, he has to create an impersonal emotion out of his feelings and emotions. So that much is told about the concept of poetic emotion uh, uh, put forward by T.S. Eliot. Now let's move on to the next concept, which is objective correlative. Eliot's doctrine of poetic impersonality finds its most classic formulation in the concept of the objective correlative, which he first used in his essay on Hamlet and his problems in his first book of criticism, The Sacred Wood. This particular title was borrowed from Fraser's book, Golden Bough. According to Eliot, a poet cannot communicate his emotions directly to the readers. He must find some object or medium suggestive of the particular emotion to evoke the same emotion in his readers. So, what does he mean by objective correlative? Objective correlative is a set of objects, a situation, a chain of events which shall be the formula of that particular emotion. So that when the external facts are given, the emotion is at once evoked. It is through the objective correlative that the transaction between the author and the reader necessarily takes place. The reader responds to the object or medium and through that to the work of art or the emotion put forward by the work of art. For example, when Shakespeare describes the sleepwalking scene of Lady Macbeth in Macbeth, the emotion is evoked without talking much about the emotion that is intended in the scene. The whole scenes, the set before the reader actually evokes this emotion. The conversation as well as the description of the setting, everything contributes to the emotion that the writer intends to evoke in the reader. So that's a classic example of objective correlative. Now the third uh, concept is dissociation of sensibility. Dissociation of sensibility and its opposite, unification of sensibility. These are two terms mentioned by Eliot in his essay, The Metaphysical Poets, which is taken from the work Homage to John Dryden. By the concept unification of sensibility, he means a fusion of thought and feeling, a recreation of thought into feeling, a direct sensuous apprehension of thought. Such fusion of thought and feeling is essential for good poetry. Eliot finds such unification of sensibility in the Jacobean dramatists and the metaphysical poets. Bad poetry results when there is dissociation of sensibility. That is, the poet is unable to feel his thoughts. There is a split between thought and feeling. According to Eliot, in the late 17th century, a dissociation of sensibility set in with the onset of rationalism. The result was a decline in poetic quality. So, dissociation of sensibility results from a kind of detachment of your thought from your feeling. They should be unified in order to create beautiful poetry. His concept of the impersonal theory of poetry, unified sensibility, his emphasis on the perfection of the spoken idiom for poetry, and his formulae such as the objective correlative are all invaluable aids to the understanding and appreciation of poetry. So that's about Eliot's contribution to the English literary criticism. Thank you.